Hey, we're
Oh,
back.
shit.
And I brought back Adelaide again. I guess everyone really liked having Adelaide on.
Hi, Michael Campbell. Nice to meet you.
Michael Campbell 2.0. I think that might have to be what we call you now.
I'm Cody. I'm Michael, your fuckface. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, no, that's true. We just recorded a fandom match. We can't go too much into it. Look out for that because that's going to be fun. But we are here. It is. Yeah. Trivia, flashback. We're on to episode 19. I can't believe we're already gone this strong. It's been like, I don't know, 5 months since we've been doing this. Pretty cool. How are you doing, Adelaide?
I want to take a bite.
Yeah.
I like to consider myself like one of the more knowledgeable people to come in like after that first wave of like history. So I'm watching this show and even like gaining context that I didn't know. And this is like one of my favorite matches ever, so I'm happy to be able to talk about it.
Oh, that's very good to hear. Yes, we're talking about a very huge match in like the history of fandom fights. It won famously Fandom Match of the Year in 2020. Of course, we are talking about the match that is Kaleb Koho versus Dominic Rizzi, round 2 of the 2020 Fandom Fights Singles Tournament. That's a lot to get out. But we're not doing this just us two. No, we need a special guest. He's one special guest indeed. He's been here since the beginning of Multiplex. He is
Dominic Rizzi.
Another guess.
Fuck. Dustin Mason.
Well, he was not a former Fandom Fights show.
Kane McMillan.
He was not the 2021 Movie Warzone Teams Tournament finalist.
Tim Bercala.
He was not part of Kings of Winter.
We're getting Jim Green?
He was not part of Ascendant.
I don't know Jim Green now.
Jim Green was still not a part of the Manhattan Project.
Oh yeah, that's Billy Crudup, right?
Was he part of Rent?
Fuck that movie. I hate that fucking movie.
It's motherfucking Kaleb Koho.
Hey guys. By the way, the best team of that bunch, Rent. By far. Rent.
Yeah. That's the team that's the most fun. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the most fun I've had on a team since Kings of Winter. Like, to be totally honest, like it's just
Scully. That is crazy.
That's the story.
No. I have a ton of fun with Scully, but that's for a totally different reason. Because like with Scully and I, like we're like
you were in the very like
Jake and I are just
serious, like you're just fucking around and quoting the best trilogy ever.
Like Jake and I don't have any expectations in any match. We can be drunk as shit playing a match and just seeing how it goes. Like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think what's funny is that because I remember when that was the whole thing with Geek Teams last year was it's gonna be the top eight, and then 8 rookies who like played that got in, and I was one of those that got in. You were one of the top 8 contended ranked players, and then and it was determined 16 teams, right? No, 8 teams. 8 teams.
It was it's one's been off from me and Koho being a team, and that's one that honestly either kills each other or makes a run.
That's true.
And you guys
I will say there were like 3 people on that wheel where I was like, that'd be great, and you were like number 1 on the list for me. I was like, so I got my top choice on that wheel.
I think you were the only person I wanted to team up with because it's like I don't remember who was like the other people. I mean, there was David and David and Meltzer and
sure.
Mike Shea, like there were other people in there, but like we would have done fine as if I was with other people. But you're the only person I really knew, and it was like I've never played with teams with Kaleb Koho before.
Right, so it's one of those like classic pairings where you just go back to like day 1 of like the whole shebang, and you're like, these are just 2 characters that have never been in a scene together. Let's do it, and it like ends up being like a new spinoff.
So we're talking Rent versus Digidestined, a really important match in history.
Actually,
one of the most fun matches. I was hungover and I had a week off work, and it was it made that morning like so good. I remember after that I was just like, I feel
that match or right now?
Both.
Whenever. Yeah, it has to be both. But let's bring up what I like to talk about on the show. It starts with C, it ends with T. It's motherfucking context. Always context. So I guess what I want to start with, you're like one of the, you're like, I don't want to say elder statesman, but one of the longest people in the community. Like, how did that kind of start for you, like in getting into the community?
So when I found Worldwide Movie Trivia was the league that I found first. I didn't get to play because the people there were very, very stingy about who they let in. But I infamously made a certain call out video where I called out about 10 people, one of them being Robert. That's how I met Robert. And it was that video got the attention of the people over at Jote.
Yeah, you can say it. It's like
Yeah, Jote. And they got me in matches, and I played. I wasn't good. Like the thing is, like if you go back and watch, I was not great. I was very like early in, but like I built my whole reputation on being the character first and the player second, and slowly built like I was never bad. When I got in to play regular. I didn't get into geek. I got into play just general movies. And I took geek because there was more openings. And it just sort of became a thing where it was like, I'm actually like okay at this. And maybe I'll just do this. And then Kane and I, after the whole Jote fiasco, came over, and Kane asked me, he's like, do you want to help me run build a geek league that's a little bit different? We built Fandom, and that's the greatest decision I've made in my life. And it was great. So I ran Fandom with Kane and then Tim and Tuig from 2018 to the 3 quarters into 2021, and then I stepped down. But it was a good run of shows and stuff in there. But as a player, I remember fighting with Kane about where my seeding should be because he wanted to put me in a play-in. I was like, no, I'm good enough to just be a seed. And I remember that run of like beating Ryan and then beating Eli and going the distance with Chance and freaking a lot of people out. Is like, oh my God, is Kaleb actually okay? Almost beating Alex and Eli in the triple threat, and then like barely losing to Jen, and then like then season 2 came and I like knocked out Nico, lost to Cody, and then beat Nico and lost to Kane, and it was like a very iffy season where it was like toss up. So then when this season came, it was very much like, okay, I want to establish myself as a singles like Fandom player being good. Just like I want to just have a good year. And it was like I beat Nazario and I beat Eli in the rematch that we always wanted. And I was like, okay, those are ones where it's like they're competitive, but I always like didn't feel a lot of pressure to those. And then it was Rizzi. And for me, I had just ditched Rizzi as a client.
And we all remember that.
Yeah, I managed Rizzi for the entirety of season 2 of Multiplex. And that was a headache that I never wanted. But yeah, it was.
You made Rizzi the play like the how we saw him for the longest time, like truly dominant, terrifying, someone who understands the game at a basic level.
In a way, yeah, I would agree. Like I think Rizzi has a lot of raw natural talent that he displays in the first season, where it's like he has a lot of power. He just needs to focus it. And then when I like to think that I helped him focus it, and that's why he won a lot of matches. And then when he just stopped caring, he just kind of stopped winning. But that was one where it was like I remember going in, so many people were like, "No, you're gonna lose to Rizzi." And I was like, I was in my head, I was like, I think I can beat Rizzi. I was like, I can beat Rizzi.
Because
no one believed me going into this match that I could beat. Like I remember talking to Scully and Boatman going into the match, and they were like, "I mean, maybe, but I don't know if you're gonna beat Rizzi, man." And I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And then this happened, and it's the highlight of my life at this point, to be honest. It's a match that I never expected to go the way it did, at all.
It's what everyone wants. Everyone wants this type of win, like into sudden death against a quote unquote better player, like
the former
champion.
He was the
champion. You wanted to just be like, I can test myself against this guy because Rizzi, as much as we make fun of him, he is very much.
He's great. Like Rizzi's raw knowledge is one of the scariest raw balances of knowledge in a player I've ever seen in the trivia community.
If every match was an Iron Man match, Rizzi could be a champion.
Exactly. I agree. If you took all strategy out of the game, Rizzi would be undefeated. Like potentially.
There's a great chance.
There's some people who could definitely beat him and like hang, but like he would have a much better record and a much better legacy if he never had to focus on round 2 or 3 strategy.
If round 1 was just the entire match,
it was like if you go back and look, the fact that he like never had like a perfect round is actually kind of insane.
Yeah, I actually didn't think that. Wow. But yeah, I think everyone started to realize like how much you really wanted to win and how much you wanted to do well in the tournament. Was the first round was when you beat Eli, because I think that also was just like because Eli had a crazy 2019 run. Like he made it to the semis of that 32 tournament. He beat me along the way, and then like I don't know what happened.
He took Tim to the
distance.
took 10 minutes.
I'll always remember because you and Eli had basically two
Yeah.
of the exact same matches where you scored the same in
literally
round one,
back to
pretty
back.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the exact same spins in round two, the same result in round three. Like you guys had like sort of the same match, and he just sort of kept going with it.
Yeah.
Well, I fucked up the first time. Second time, he just beat me.
And Eli is a player that we don't give a ton of credit to because he's had rough matches and rough misses. But Eli's a player that genuinely I don't think I'm considered the player I am today if I never play Eli. Because I think Eli in the original tournament was the match where like, okay, he beat Ryan. That's a state. I guess that's kind of a statement. But beating Eli was like that's to us. He was the rookie of the community that year. Where it was like
that 2018, he just came out of nowhere. Like he wins the two play-ins in Warzone Fandom.
He was in both play-ins.
Even up to now, like I can say like both times I was thinking like for a Fandom teammate, I was like, what if I look at Eli? Because he's a player who is like genuinely like he doesn't have a lot of weak categories. He's one of the, he has a really good ability to translate geek knowledge into fandom knowledge, which a lot of players don't. And like his balance with it, like he's a shit better. Like we all know the clip, but he's still like he's able to win pretty dominantly. Like he's if he didn't step out as like fandom singles or have like a good manager, he could be one of the top talents we're still talking about.
It's also like he's also very similar to Rizzi. It's the reason why Schizo as a team is a team that like even though Holtzman and I were able to win, that's not a team that we wanted to play ever because that's another team where it's like they're really solid and honestly they probably should have beaten us in that match. Like they got a whole rule change because of it. Like
that set a precedent. That set a precedent, which is crazy.
Exactly.
But you had the win over him there. And so then going into round two, Rizzi beats Kamaya, right? In round one?
He beat Kamaya in his rebound win, yeah.
In his rebound. Because this is Rizzi like post singles belt. This is
he just lost in sudden death to Scully, and then he beats Kamaya in the first match back.
He beats Kamaya in the first round by knockout?
No, right? It was tight.
No, it was tight. Okay. But
Kamaya is like really consistent in tournaments. Like him and
Kamaya,
Kamaya's record both matches were like really.
Yeah, Kamaya's record does not reflect the knowledge in Mark Kamaya's brain. Mark Kamaya's
he recently just beat Brittany and Geek, so it's like
he's a good player. It's also like Brittany. Brittany is one of the people like last year who like I would say is one of the rookies of the year and is going to have a great year this year. But like her record at the beginning of the year just does not reflect the knowledge inside of Brittany Tapley's brain. She's insane.
That absolutely. But you beat Eli, great win. Then Rizzi beats Kamaya. You guys are playing in the second round. Like, how did you like feel like going against Rizzi 1-on-1? Like at this point, former fandom champion wins the belt. Like, what did you like kind of feel about the match going into it?
Me personally, I felt an enormous sense of pressure. Where because not even like from anyone else, no one expected me to win this, but I felt a lot of pressure because I knew I could win this. And I really wanted to win this. You can ask anyone who was like really close to me at that time around me, like Boatman, Scully, Holtzman, Spence, all of them would tell you all I talked about was like, I want to win this because I know I can. I remember there's a secret, there was a secret betting pool that the admins had, like for nothing. Who are they gonna go for like absolutely nothing. There was nothing on the line, so there was no like stakes or anything. But we were just like we made predictions and we kept track of them. And I was the only person who bet on myself against Rizzi, and everyone else bet Rizzi.
Hey,
and everyone else's bracket points busted in the fandom tournament because they picked Rizzi to go to the finals, and I picked me to go to the semis against Tuig. And I again, that's another match that I Tuig will tell you that's one of the sneakiest games I have ever played in my life, and he will never do that again.
I give Koho a lot of shit. I think he can be like very overconfident. That is one thing that I will always give him because he made the smartest moves possible and possibly took a win out from under Tuig. That honestly Tuig should have had like relatively easy. Koho pushed him.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful sight.
Yeah, Mevi Tuig 1 is a match that I'm very proud of. Not as proud as I am of Mevi Tuig 2, like for the belt, but that's also like that's a match that we're like in general. That felt like that was a huge deal for me where it was like I finally got to a title match on my own and Tim and Tuig are there and they surprised the shit out of me by getting Kane to co-host it. So it was all 4 fandom showrunners on one call for the first time ever in a video. It was a lot. It was like a very beautiful moment for fandom for me, at least personally.
Your fandom career is consistent in a way that we don't really talk about of like you win pretty well. But like when you're punching up, you are putting up some of the best games of anyone in fandom ever.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a crazy career that you have because it's like you're like me. I think you and me, right? And Jim.
Yeah, it's me, you, Nazario.
I guess Jim's taking a break, right?
I think it's just the three of us from the first season, from the first tournament.
Yeah, from the first tournament, it's just the three of us.
And I mean, Jim's not retired, but he's not playing right now. But if Jim comes back, then Jim will be one of them as well.
Yeah,
it'll be the four of us left.
You're one of the few people to be in fandom since the very beginning. I mean, you were a showrunner, but even regardless,
Kane's still here.
On Kane as well.
Kane's still here, but he doesn't play as often anymore.
But like you still like have this big career and you're still playing, and it's like sometimes it's just an endurance thing where it's just like, is there a time where it's like to take a break? But you're just going strong with every season, every match. It's crazy.
I've said this before, and like I think it comes and goes. It's just I love playing so much where it's like I've been burned out. If you look at last season, I put everything into that title match. So when I lost, you come see my next 2 games. My next 3 games, I play awful in like all 3 games because I like was burnt. I was just so burnt by that loss. That like when I play Joe the second time, Joe the second time is gross. I barely beat Jim. Scully destroys me. Because I'm just not ready to face them again after how much I put into it. And like now I feel like I've found the balance on it. But like if you just like watch me play fandom and Warzone, it's just I love playing. And I've said it before, I get people who burn out and people who want to take breaks. I don't begrudge you. I felt that. I've wanted to at points. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think I could ever take a break. I'm too scared of taking a break because if I ever take a break, I'm too worried I won't be able to come back the way I was. And I never want to lose that ability of like being able to hang with everyone. And I think it's almost more fun and more impressive in a way to be able to keep playing and hanging with every new group that comes in. Where it's like like Scully is still here, but like I've played before Tuig and now after Tuig. I played before Tim and now after Tim. Like Tim and Tuig have had full careers and I'm still going. And they have had better careers than me because they're great and they understand what they had to do and like they did the great things. But like I kind of love that idea of just like maybe playing till I'm like 60. Like if this is still around, just still playing till I'm like 60, playing against kids who are 18 and beating them. Like that's I want to be the John Marr of this league eventually, but the legacy of it is just like I've been here since it started.
In the wasteland where the entire world has been taken out by COVID nukes, Koho is still like challenging random people to like play him for the title of fandom and just like screaming random Planet of the Apes question at him.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like that might be a little bit of like a weird thing to think about, but like I've never thought about quitting or like taking a break. I don't think I could. It's a weird paranoia thing where it's just like I never want to lose a step. I want to keep playing, and even if it means not playing fandom seriously for a season and focusing on Warzone, or not playing Warzone as seriously and putting it all on fandom for a year, whatever I have to do to keep playing. Like I'm pretty sure there'll come a day where I just stop playing seriously, but I just keep playing, and my record will just forever be like 85 and 85. So like
the perfect balance, as all things should be. But I think we'll pretty much got everything out the way. Let's get into the match. Before we get into it, like when's the last time you watched this match?
I have not watched this match probably since it came out.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really go back to my matches. Unless people are like showing them or like they're like, hey, I want to see something that you did or that the opponent did, or we're looking up a question or something. Okay. I don't typically go back to my matches.
I think I teased this like in the opening. I talked to Koho in a little group chat about it. I think that there are 4 all-time greatest fandom matches ever. It's the triple threat that just happened with Tuig, Tim, and
that's an all-time
Scully.
match.
That is, yeah.
It is Tuig versus Scully 1. It's the fandom team triple threat and this, because I think this is maybe like other than the reason
that's insane.
The best game. Actually, no, and also like Tim versus Robert. Like I think maybe like this is one of the best games ever played in fandom.
This is the best 3-round match in fandom.
Oh, 100%.
I appreciate that a lot.
It's that and Tuig versus Scully 1, which are like not lockstep.
That's a crazy match because there was this like hype on Tuig, and Scully pitches a perfect game and beats him.
Right. Yeah, it's at that point game. Tuig and Scully are not quite Tuig and Scully, but that's the game where they become Tuig and Scully.
Scully cut the rush, and this one is just like a full like brawl.
I mean, there's also the whole like Rizzi and I had beef.
Yeah.
Like actually
This
had beef.
history.
We stopped managing
Yeah.
each other.
This is the
like
Rocky
serious
2.
history.
Like for me, it was all sort of character stuff, and like, I was like, okay, we're gonna do the thing. But Rizzi like actually was like really upset that I didn't want to manage him anymore. Like that became a real that caused a real rift. And like me and Rizzi were like kind of friends, like not tight,
Okay.
but we were friends. And like we stopped being friends after I stopped managing him because he was like really upset about it. And like, so this was very much like a match where like I feel like in a way it was almost a grudge match. So
Yeah. So I think let's get into it and see
A bonus.
relive this because
Okay.
I love rewatching matches, especially like the team stuff,
Oh, the
like
blue
concept
hair.
stuff. I just love doing that. But
Starting
always
with,
curious, like
question
how
number one,
people
which is the category of
rewatch stuff.
Pixar.
I forgot all
In
about the blue hair
Monsters,
at
Inc.,
that point.
What nickname does Celia have for Mike?
See, my thing is I always like Cody
I like
hosting to me feels weird.
Cody's
I
not
get-
getting
I'm
enough
not
credit for
used
his
to it.
hosting.
Well, no, like he's a good host. It's just once in the blue
I've always
moon, and the
said
point
in
like,
the
does if I ask him to host, like, will he show up? And I just see him host, it's like, oh shit, you can do this.
Right.
Cody's a great host, and honestly, Cody doesn't
yeah.
get enough credit. Like, Cody will be called the greatest manager of all time, but I think Cody's just one of the greatest. Like,
Caleb.
everything, like host, showrunner, player. I think he's really good at.
And,
He goes in the
aspects
Mount
of it.
Rushmore of online trivia people.
Googly Bear is correct. Caleb takes the 120.
Also, what the fuck is like?
on
Wow.
the-
I've
I
always
forgot
questioned
Rizzi
like this
was-
filling location for Rizzi.
Well,
This
Let's
is
go.
It's
Yeah.
his like
Everyone's
uncle's
favorite
cellar or
category,
something,
Oscars.
like because
Yeah.
it's the bar that
name
he's
one of the
he's
two
at. It's
people that have
a
won
very
an
weird
Oscar
look.
for their work on Spectre.
So name an actor who's won an Oscar. In
You
Spectre.
recently watched them.
Well, it's
no, one an
Sam
Oscar for
Smith.
Spectre.
Oh, it also
I
made me
Oh,
think
okay, so I
cinema.
get it.
It's
Did
Sam
someone
Smith and I
So
think the
right
other
now, taking a
songwriter.
break from it.
But
So yeah, that's fair.
So Koho, when are you replacing the Creed 2 poster?
probably never at this
One,
point.
we will go
No,
Dom.
it's a good like look there.
It's the only wall size poster I got from my work.
How about Creed 3?
Maybe if bars
All
on
right,
it, I
next
will.
question is going to be in the category of Disney live action.
I miss
Who
Oscars, by
plays
the way.
Jasmine in 2019?
It's just what else could
Okay.
you do with the category?
Both raced to the
The,
board.
the category was basically milked
Yeah,
to what it
they
was, and I
are
get why it's
big
gone.
fans,
But like
big
for me,
fans
that
of
was
the
like the one
line.
category where it was like I'll never miss.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe
That was
not.
my ace in the hole on everything.
I mean, you
and like,
did lose to Doc in the exhibition.
I did lose to Doc because I miscalculated how many actors are in the MCU at this point.
Yeah, it was that.
But you should you of all people should know.
See, I was keeping track of it, and then I just totally
No need to besmirch
forgot
yourself.
4
Hey,
new
Scott.
people.
Both are correct. Keeping pace. I don't disagree with the statement.
I just
I will
realized
say, I
how
know
long
Mark
it
was
took me to
also
say.
upset because that's also a category that he had like
Star Wars.
prepared
In The
and
Force
trained
Awakens.
to like be a
What
master
about
at.
Finn?
Like I go back and like watch like Teams' run, and I've watched both License to Show runs a couple times.
What's the first thing you notice about
Like,
Koho
Mark
when
and
you
Tyler
encountered him?
Love Oscars, and like most of their matches they land on Oscars or scores and soundtracks.
How close
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is
Without-
you just got to find a
You know what I noticed?
category
He wasn't
that you
wearing
can like
shoes.
feel really
Just
good
white
about,
socks
and then just
in
run it.
Chicago.
And Oscars was
So,
that
yeah,
for me. I can
in
do that with a lot of
person, it
categories
was
in
him
fandom
walking
now
out
at
of
this
the
point.
airport
But like
and then going,
that was the
"Holy
thing where it
fuck,
was like
Ian
we
Roberts."
used bounce and pick whatever's not popular. So like when Mark adapted to Oscars, I was very like like
Pens
yeah,
down. We'll
good for
go
him,
to
you know.
Good for him.
His jacket?
he picked up on the trend.
and Caleb.
He's wearing Poe's jacket.
Yeah, we can
Also,
accept both.
I'm gonna grab a second drink because I know this is gonna be a long match.
All right, guys, your next.
One thing that
question is
still
category MCU.
bums me out, bothers me. I want to do it this
In
year. Just get a perfect round.
Avengers
I've never had a perfect
Infinity
round.
War, what is the
Yeah, I
fourth
mean, I had
stone
once.
that Thanos
It was against
collects?
Guja, but also
Right.
that was like a retirement match, and the questions are a little easier.
Fair.
And I
Like,
even
you
missed the
can't
bonus.
You can't downplay that though. At the end of the day, you got a perfect round. That's something that most of the people who play the game
fourth
don't
one
have.
collects.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I think
I've been playing
it's
forever.
just
I don't have
luck,
that.
To be
I
honest,
can see where you.
I feel like part of me is like
Don't do
I feel like some people are like, oh, it's a matter of time. I'm like, I just keep messing up one or two little things every time.
We
So.
will start with Caleb
Soul Stone.
and Dom.
Soul Stone.
Correct, and Caleb.
so he missed the
is
Pixar question, which is
five.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Rizzi and Pixar.
I don't
is
think that's a
like-
hard
You gave
Pixar
me this
question
because
either.
You know how much I love it.
No, like
The
she
next
says Googly Bear
question
like
is start.
20
Yeah.
times in the movie.
I think she says
In the
Googly Bear more
voyage
than she
home,
says his name Mike.
Which
Like,
Yeah.
crew member stays on Vulcan while the rest of the crew head back to Earth?
So
Alright,
at this
Koho.
point, this is. Oh yeah, go on.
Just quick shitty question for Koho. Have you had a perfect round before? actually don't know this.
No, we were just talking about
We were
that.
just talking about
Okay.
I've never gotten a perfect round one. It's the only thing that
not a
I.
big
It's
fan
one of
the
like
bad reviews
that's
if
one of
there's
like the small
like
goals that I want to do. Besides, at this
shit.
point, I just got to win a belt. Like that's
Yeah.
that's the last thing I have to do,
2,
basically. Win a
1,
belt.
I just have a gut feeling like you're gonna end up like Robert, where it's like you won't get a perfect round one until your very last match. You're like, well, at least I got it.
Is correct. So with that,
That'd be so irritating.
ties the game.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Tie game.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I love the tie game thing. So that's my favorite
All
bit.
right.
I was gonna say at this point, because this is mid 2020,
Yeah.
roughly
Yeah.
around.
Name
How are you like
one
with all the
of
categories?
3 astronauts.
In
traveled
mid
with
2020, I would
Taylor
say
into the future in
I'm at like
Planet of the Apes.
75% on those categories.
If you were
I
traveling
wasn't as good at Trek at that point,
Who would
as you
you
just saw
take
there.
with
I
you?
missed a Trek question that right now I
besides
don't know.
Maggie and Robin.
I would say at
Well,
this point,
definitely, I don't know about that.
what was
one
it?
Of those
It
two,
was
I don't know.
YA and
Who would I take with me?
Mission
Mission
Impossible new
Impossible.
categories on
I
this
would
year.
definitely take Maggie.
I think, yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess I
that's-
can take
yeah.
Robert. And then
Yeah,
probably you
and at this
Nancy,
point,
guys
I
can keep
had only
shape,
seen
not
at this
physically.
point I think I'd only seen the Hunger Games
Man,
in the YA.
Oh.
It took me a long time to round out YA. Like I rounded out YA
down,
last season.
We're going to
Wait, because
And then the
I
additional
remember
spotlight.
like
and Taylor.
I think in
That was a
every
big-
in
that- to pull the cord back, that was a big
Both
point of contention
incorrect. You're looking
with
for
the other showrunners.
Landon
Was
Yeah.
that I hadn't seen all the movies, which is a very fair statement. It's a very
All
fair
right,
argument to
guys.
have,
Maybe you can redeem yourself on Disney.
and that's totally fair. I don't begrudge them at all.
Who voices
And that's partially why I
in
agreed to
Zootopia?
step down, where I was just like, I haven't seen them all, and I don't
The
want
whole
to
thing is what
hinder you
people
guys,
don't
and I
know
didn't have
about
the commitment to
future
time the way that they
is
did. Anymore.
Trivia actually.
because
is how
I
we
was like,
decide.
because I remember like I think every match like leading up to like your title match against Tui, Cody was just shitting on you in push matches. Like Koho was not gonna be a serious
I like that
competitor.
idea.
He hasn't seen all the movies. There's no Middle Earth. It's just like keep putting down because like you're just not watching things. And I think
this
it was-
tournament, I will say this tournament was one of the big moments where like I prepped Middle Earth for this tournament in secret, and then I dropped it. On
Because that was the
I
running
was-
gag.
question.
The running
I was
gag
gonna
at the time,
ask,
so
'cause, like,
Chloe
I
hasn't
w-
seen the Middle Earth
is in
movies.
Rocky.
Well, right at that point,
In
I
Creed,
hadn't
Elizabeth
seen Middle Earth
Addis
until this tournament.
first approached
I hadn't seen the Lord of the Rings
Rocky.
trilogy until this tournament, which was like a huge blind spot. And
Yeah.
like that was just because I was so stubborn, didn't want to, and then I
Wow.
watched them
Do
and
you
I didn't
remember
enjoy them, and I
where
took detailed
you
notes on
were
them and
when I
everything.
first approached you?
And I did it
Because-
because I knew at some point it would come up. And actually the match where it actually pays off is maybe RJ, which is my first match post this tournament.
That's freaking.
And I get it,
weird.
and I drop a 9 on RJ in middle.
I remember because it's something that never made the light of day because like I think
it's not
videos are posted like the fetus cult was a thing.
one.
Something that never got public
FPG.
was that Tuig joined us right before World War Geek.
Both are correct.
And we had like a little group chat, and then I made a remark about the two towers and come and be like, "Hey, Tuig can't know I'm watching these. Like, I need to take
in
it."
the 2 towers.
But I remember like that was a period of time where Ko was like, "If you say that I watch these fucking movies, you are dead because I need
is
to
true.
win that bout."
This is true. I kept it like very like there, to the point where there was like there were games or like test things that I would do where I purposely would miss Middle Earth questions and testing to keep the gag going that I hadn't seen Middle Earth.
That's true.
Like there were matches that I didn't care about that I was playing for fun, where it was like I cared more about the Phantom tournament, so I will purposely drop this Middle Earth right here to make it known that I haven't seen it, so that I can
She knew.
survive.
She knew. I didn't even have to say
Yeah,
it.
that's interesting.
Hands
It's a good
down,
strategy.
Caleb.
I don't think it works anymore. I think it worked in
yeah.
2020, but at this point, it's expected that I know all the stuff about everything, and
So, at the
I like
end
to think I know
of
most of the
round
stuff in Phantom.
numero one, we have a tie
Also,
game
you're
of
like
8.
everyone, like you're a better player than you were 2 years
Round
ago.
number 2.
True.
So,
Yeah,
like,
that comes with having a better team around me. I'll give all the credit in the world to the Kingsmen.
Thanks to Wheels.
I built a faction of people that I knew were good, and I really liked
before you
being
choose
around,
this,
and that
again,
turned
you gotta
into
keep
a
whatever you
support
spend the
system
second
that
time.
makes
Each
everyone we
question
bring
is
into
worth
it
2
better.
points apiece.
Literally
If
every
you
person we
wanna get
get
multiple choice,
on
you
the
can,
team
but
is
if you
better
realize it's
for
being
being
worth
one of us
one,
than not
look
being one of
out
us. Before or after.
in this round.
Stronger
So,
together than
the
than
tag
you are
Absolutely.
alone.
I can never give enough credit to
are
Holtzman and
following.
Boatman and Scully and
Wizarding
Doc
World,
and all of them for
DreamWorks,
making me better
Middle
through
Earth,
2020 and 2021.
scores and soundtracks.
No one has done worse after joining the Kingsmen.
DC,
Even Nico, who was like a short addition, like he still like got a lot better.
I forgot he was part of the Kings.
We picked up Nico for a hot second, and like I don't want to say that's a cocky thing of like, oh wow, we're just so good. It's just the support system we've built is so dedicated to helping everyone that we get.
If Nico wasn't retired, he probably would have joined Fun Team. Like I said before, I left, I tried to get Nico to join them, but he retired. Like there's like Nico is I think maybe the only player who would have gotten in 3 of the 4 factions. 4 of the 5 because like he managed his own.
Also, I just want to say real quick about what we just saw on my face through that entire end of there is because we're tied. My face, you can see it where I'm just like everything from here. I'm like everything from here is icing. I tied Rizzi at around 1.
Yeah.
And I think
it's 8. It's 8.
I think it's 8-8.
8-8.
Where it's like I everything from here purely icing. So you can see it on my face. Everything from here, I'm so nervous. Like deep down, I'm so nervous about this match. But I like to think that's like a very decent skill of mine is to look at the very least look very cool under pressure. And use my face to fuck with the opponents. And Rizzi was someone who I could fuck with a lot. Just by
it's so easy to be able to do that.
Right.
He's not going to think of anything. He's oblivious.
There were questions, and honestly, I'll just straight up reveal the strategy now because I think I've done it for so many
years. It's been a year now.
I think people know. I will make a face while you're answering a question, and you have to take the gamble. Do I know it or do I not know it? And check the multiple choice. Because I'll do it if I want multiple choice, and I'll do it if I know the answer. I'll do it every time because I just want to get you to check down a multiple choice or shoot if I think you don't know it or you do know it. Or if I don't know it. So I use
tried
that
this strategy a couple of times.
Yeah, I use that tactic a lot. It's one of my mains. So
it does work from time to time.
It works on so many people. There are people who don't think it works on them, but it totally does. I won't say their names, but there are people who have played for titles that I've gotten with that before.
If you are playing a match, do not look at the screen because your opponent is mostly trying to fuck with you if they know an answer. Like I think a lot of, especially the top players,
I think I'm very good at reading it. I'll say this: I think I am very good at reading people. So,
yeah. So Rizzi he deferred. So you're going, or did he? Yeah. He deferred, right? So
he deferred to me.
Yeah. I was gonna say because it lands on.
I wonder what
on Oscars. So that was like the one category where it's like, yeah.
That was the category that no matter what, if I hit that, I'm keeping that for sure. That's that every match. If that came up, I was like, that's it. That's my thing.
Okay. Are you?
And I got very lucky this tournament. I think I hit it every match I played this tournament.
What is the only Wizarding World film to be nominated for cinematography?
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
That's correct.
My internet is so bad in this match. I don't really know why.
It's a little like fuzzy, but
I don't know if that's just everyone or not. But
the Dark Knight trilogy.
It just could be. It could be the quality of the of the video.
Potentially.
9.
That is correct for 2 points.
I'm just imagining a nice 21-year-old Kaleb Koho. So I could go out and drink, or I could read my Phantom Oscars data sheet again.
But here's the other thing you have to remember: I can't go out and drink.
Coco.
I mean,
at this point, not only at this point is the pandemic going on, but 2, I am 20 years old.
The Prince of Egypt.
Let me make a joke.
Other DreamWorks film have been
I think
2021, I absolutely took the opportunity to go drink and play less trivia, which is why my season is way worse. Yeah. So,
I think it's important to point out.
What?
What month are you born in?
November.
What was your birthday?
Yeah, I'm November.
November. Okay, so you're November 2000.
Nominated for makeup and
November 99, actually.
Oh, so you're okay. So you're a couple months older, my brother.
Yeah.
Every
year, like right now, I am 22 in 2022 until November, which then I will be 23 for the last 2 months, and then
you have a 2-month head start with the year.
Yeah. So my age matches the year for the most part of the year.
All right.
I do think it's crazy. I forgot what match it was. I watched a Warzone match recently where Beltman was like, we're not gonna talk about COVID because hopefully it's over soon. And I realized how I think all of this, like the quality of the competitor, goes way down if COVID isn't a thing. Because we are stuck.
Oh, for sure.
Do much. For watching at home, and everyone's like, "Fuck it, I can."
It's honestly why I think this year and next year are going to be the weirdest time for the league, where a lot of people were like, they were great,
so Kaleb
are about to go down
round 2
because the world's opening again.
18, so Dom's got some work to do.
I think that's a part of why Michael and I kind of had a good run in 2020, but also
Dom,
like
this is your spin.
The way America was handling with the pandemic and the way
Lands
Australia.
on opponent's
And
True,
choice.
we handled it way worse than everyone else.
Caleb.
Yeah, and also like last year, like when things were kind of normal for us Australians, and that kind of like stopped us like to really like push playing in Warzone and all that, which is part of why we took a break because everyone was just like had more time than us. But yeah, it's interesting like the way pandemic played into this.
That's definitely a contributing factor to why my 2020 is as good as it is. Where it's like I play great in fandom for the most part that year, or at least personally, I think I have my best season in fandom this year. I play for the Warzone teams titles with Holtzman this year. Like this 2020 is my best singular season ever, and that's why I got. I think that's
not just fandom.
I mean, I got nominated for Player of the Year for that. Like that's like I'm very proud of the season. And then the immediate next season, I have a better Warzone team season and fandom team season than I do my individual singles careers. Just go down the toilet for 1 year. They just take a full break while I put everything into teams. And I think both my teams do well. But like I think I my hope is that this year I'm able to make all 4 work to my advantage in a huge way this year. That's my hope.
Right. I think that definitely is a likely circumstance. Like, just am I okay? My I've got the internet thing saying that I'm unstable. My connection. Am I?
You seem fine on my end. So
okay. I was just getting.
Go with me, let me and Koho can just like shoot the shit and talk about really dumb stuff, which we do like every day.
We can talk about brand of hair dyes because I don't know what you use, but my hair dye.
To be honest, I don't know. I just know like the one I don't use is Arctic Fox. Everything else is like, sure, why not?
I use Guy Tang. I'm a Guy Tang guy. So.
Well, I would use probably like Baytang.
Oh, okay.
But going into Rizzi's round 2, I was like trying to not even reference the joke, but this is like the perfect situation, right? Like you can get
for real.
Opponent's choice.
You can see it on my face. This is literally it went from icing to overjoyed, like, oh my god, I might actually pull off the upset of the century. And you see it all over my face where it's like he got opponents and I got spinners basically.
So did you have a choice? Did you know like what was the #1 category you were going to give him?
I think so.
I'm just looking at it like it's a decent category for him.
I mean, I would just like scores and soundtracks. Like
no, at this point, there was like a very big thing with him not knowing Park. That was a big thing where it was like I tried to get him to study Park all season 2. He refused to do it. It still refused to do it into this season. So I remember Jurassic Park being there. I was like, that's probably the default opponent's choice. I don't remember if I gave it to him or not.
Let's see what happens.
Also, am I crazy? Is last year the only year they did a 32 seed fandom tournament?
No.
Disney
Season 2 we did 32.
Okay.
But it all came out in the span of 2 weeks because of editing production issues.
Game. Let's go.
Okay, definitely like pre 2020. I'm a lot less knowledgeable of my history, but I still like.
We did
good.
32.
Okay,
we reduced it to 16 because of the production issues. We upped it to 32 the next year because we were back to normal. And then this year, I think it's back to 16 from what I've heard from Tim and Twig. So.
Okay, Dom, you ready?
Just because the roster's like what 40 people, so 8 people just have to sit out. Like
fucking
Lost World.
Multiple choice.
Also, like Jurassic Park should be like the easiest cat. Like it's 5 movies.
But the thing is, you can go really stupid deep in those categories. It's the reason why. And the thing is, I wouldn't call myself great at Jurassic Park. I'd call myself serviceable. And at this point, I'd call myself downright awful because I haven't studied them in fucking 2 years. But there's a reason why like Maggie Bracala was fucking disgusting because she could just come in with Park and just ruin the entire league. Like I'll stand by Maggie Bracala as a player is still one of my favorite players to ever play the game. Like one of my favorite stories of the entire game.
What I would, in hindsight, I wish Jurassic Park wasn't a category until after Extinction, right? That's Dominion, the new one.
So you wouldn't want it to be a category until this year.
Until that one comes out, and then you have 6, or even next year, you have 6 movies. Like it's a clean category, and then you can just use it for the year or 2. 6 is better than 5 movies.
I get that, but yeah, Jurassic Park, you just run out of stuff fast.
Okay,
this is a problem. I would say like it is more for group chat, but like are there because like if Maggie is Jurassic Park and Koho is Oscar, like are certain fandom categories like clear like one player represents them?
I would put my hand up for Marlon.
I would put Jacob for Marlon. I mean, for a long time, I'd also put you up for
your options again are
like you were the Bond guy. Now I put Joe, but
Joe is the Bond guy. Yeah, I thought I was gonna have Bond. He is like.
I would put David on the face of Star Wars, even though I know Scott.
I put Nazario on horror.
but
I put Mike on horror just because
I would put Michael Campbell on
the
horror.
horror guy.
Michael Campbell and Mike
Campbell.
Hanley are the co-faces of
All right,
horror
Dom, your
icons.
next question. In
Um,
Jurassic Park, the
Kelly
DNA
is
an
Disney
interesting
animated.
dinosaurs was taken
It's
from
an
I mean,
interesting
you
idea.
put Kelly. I personally associate Caleb Boatman and Nazario and Kelly all together as the
Oh,
faces
yeah.
of Disney animation. Like those
That's
three
fair.
are the Disney animation people. I put Holtzman on the face of Disney live action. I think
I
Holtzman.
don't know why. I think of Boatman more for DreamWorks because I think it's more like more offensive, at least when the era that I got into it.
I don't know anyone else besides me who likes DC enough to claim it as
And
their
your final
category.
question.
That's the
In
thing. I put
Jurassic
Eli
Park
McKay as the
3,
face of DCEU or Worlds of
physically
DC,
gives
but I think when it
Dolan
comes to just straight up
a back
DC,
to
I
the
think I'm the
left?
only person in the league that has the balls to make that a strength.
Oh yeah.
Dr.
So-
Grant, Alan Grant.
I'll put straight up just DC.
I mean, you as well, but like
I think that
between the
would
two of us, I don't know many people who are like, yeah, DC, that's a strength. Like,
Mhm.
This is the era of Koho's bendy board, which I always thought was fun.
oh, that's because I couldn't
Wait,
afford
what?
a board. Also,
Yeah, well, look
see
at
my
it right
face.
now. Like the board is like in.
This is the
Gonna
season where I'm
go-
in the middle of a transition of just what am I doing as a
There's
character, where it's like I'm trying to be a
looking
face
for
for the rest of the
Amanda.
people around me,
Amanda.
and it's
You were
not
kind of a
going-
face for this season, for like
Mrs. Kirby.
80% of it.
I mean, I
I think it
tried.
was
I
one of-
tried really hard to just be a face, and then I just
So
kind of just let
we,
myself just be
are
myself.
Round
And
number
people
2,
couldn't separate the
with
king
a
from
bonus
myself,
choice,
and I got nominated for heel. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just be a heel. I'm gonna.
13, but he does get 5 points.
I do really love your
steals there. So we
It's because of things like that, though, where my
still
face.
have
I just have a very
game,
animated
which
face.
is The
Mm.
also coveted
Your
beautiful,
Jacoby
Well, I mean,
match,
God's
where you come in and you're like, yep, I'm giving up. You guys into me, and Holton's like,
then you were gonna have to
I didn't know this was happening. I'm still nice.
I was gonna say, like, this is kind of like mid 2020, or even like the end of 2020 is when we
Yeah, it's what
started to
happened,
not
right?
really. We kind of just stopped really doing like the showy sort of schmodown sort of stuff. We started becoming our own thing. We
Yeah,
stopped really like nicknames. We've like almost dropped at this point.
which kind of
character
bums me out
stuff.
because I really like nicknames.
The nicknames are cool, but it's like we were doing it because the schmodown, and the schmodown's more like
Yeah.
out
Yeah, I
there
get
for its
that.
entertainment
It's
aspect. I'm fine
MTFO
with
did
just,
it
like,
best, so we don't need to
introducing
repeat it.
Koho again. What's that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that's
Like-
fine.
MTFO did it best, so we don't need to like repeat like how good they were.
Yeah, I mean they also had the music and all that sort of stuff, which we
Yeah.
tried
Like,
to do.
and I'll say
They're the
this,
best
I-
faction ever.
I will always say the characters and nicknames stuff is stuff that I love just as much as the
Yeah.
actual trivia game. And if it came to a point where we were like definitively going to say we are no longer doing this, I would drop the crown and I would just be myself, and people would still call me the heel of the year. Like I would
Yeah.
still be called a heel because
Same
I
shit
think
with Cody as well.
yeah, because Cody and I have just made our entire personas in this community in a trivia space built on our character. Like
Yeah,
this thing did not come into my life until the number one contender triple threat. But now I would say when you think of me as a competitor, you can't think about me without the crown.
Mm.
Like that's just a synonymous thing.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if that will if we will get to that point where we like unanimously decide that let's drop nicknames and stuff.
I can see that
I
coming
think
in
it's
the next year.
slowly. It could be a case like start of next season.
Yeah.
But it is like a fun thing where I'm like,
It's
man,
no fun.
it was really cool when I was the maestro, and now like last year I kind of really dropped that and just now like Kangaroo.
I think I penned the nickname actually because like
Yeah, I think it was you.
it's like
for sure.
it's like yeah, but also like you did like the best thing.
I mean, the
last
whole
year.
thing with characters this year, Mike and Video Store and I are like keeping it alive as hard as we can this year. Like we're trying to keep it alive with the rivalry. I know Fun DMC is trying to get involved, and I'm so happy that they are. I love working with Anthony and Bill on that. Like I think
Mhm.
I think all of that is just really fun to try and build that atmosphere again. I get Dread's never been about that, and that's fine. I don't want people to like force themselves to be a part of it. I think you can or you can't, but
Dread is one giant long hair. Actually, not long hair. He's not a good comparison.
Any questions?
What is this comparison?
3. Okay, so
Dread is one giant Ethan Arwin.
sure.
We're here.
Yeah.
Dread's good. I'll always say this. I like the guys in Dread. I like Club Dread.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to character
Get
stuff,
that
they just
started
don't
with
want to
Tom.
participate. That's totally fine. I don't begrudge them that at all.
I always message Ethan saying, "Hey, I'm first order's
Okay.
done.
Your
Can I
question is
join
for
Club
the
Trade?" But
franchise.
at that point, Mike and
What is
Nazaro
the
were like,
only
with
Rocky
video store and all that. I
film
was
of
like,
the
I
original
gotta
6
them.
to not have a
I
score.
mean, you could
proposed
be
by Bill Conti.
Who's it? Did it have fandom players?
What, Club Dread?
Yeah, you could have been Bar's new teammate.
In Fend.
Yeah.
No, I like my partner, which I can't reveal because this
Your partner of Michael Campbell. Yeah.
Michael Campbell, yeah.
One, we will go to Dom first.
I was thinking, like, what if you just played with Michael, like with Michael, but like
Caleb.
as the kangaroo mask,
Rocky
like 2
4
different
is
players?
correct. So with that, Caleb gets
Mhm.
2 points. Brings us total.
or I want like Dick
20.
Too Big and
Dom has 13. It is a 7
Dim
game as we get into the next
Wazikowski or
category.
whatever
What-
as like a new fandom team.
It's DreamWorks.
Oh yeah. So at this point, so you bet 2.
Yep.
No, wait. You bet 2.
I bet 2 outscores the soundtrack.
All right.
And he bet 0.
He bet
Or
0
bet 2?
because I was like, I'm just at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna put as much distance as I can,
Okay.
so then I can just bet 0 out and watch him try and catch up.
Okay.
I think what's crazy is that I always thought it was closer, but he
Is
was
this
like
the last time that Rizzi knew how to bet?
What name?
It's not even
did
just about
Oscar
betting. He
get
just was like,
after
I got to
everybody
bet, so I'm betting 2.
killed Frankie?
Well, he still understands. I think there's a match where he's like, "No, I'm not trying to try 0."
That's true, but I think at that point he's given up. I think when he does that, he gives up. He doesn't give up here because this is a good round 3
You're not
for him.
wrong.
He figures
You're
that
not
out as he
wrong.
goes.
Mhm.
It's just crazy that like the one he went 0 for was the one he missed. Like if he had bet, then that's it. The game's done.
One. Caleb will go to you for.
What if Rizzi's a genius?
Shark killer.
I don't give. You're giving him way too much credit.
Shark Slayer is correct. So with that, Dom gets 2 points.
And at this point, you're like, I've got a good lead. I'm just gonna bet 0 and let's.
Yeah, I was like, I'll coast it
We
out.
get into the
'Cause I was like,
category of Marvel.
I was like, at best, he
Outside
gets
the
6
MCU
points. I just have to
Marvel.
bet 2 once and I win. Is basically what was in my mind. So
So you just wait. At this point, you're waiting just for the right category.
I'm waiting for the right category, and what ends up happening is
Crazy.
it never comes, and I have to bet to tie.
No, we do.
Okay, Dom, we will start.
Is it still St.
Oh
Patrick's
shit,
Day?
Mason's here.
Yeah, it's still St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day for us anyway.
Okay.
I mean, for Payson it is.
Okay.
Koho's got 10 minutes. Payson's got like 2 hours.
What is the name of?
This is
Ben
also, I'll say
Grimm's
this is the first season where I
fiancé
focus
who
on myself
breaks
as a
up with
player.
him once he becomes the thing. in
More than anything else, which is why I
2005's
think you see
Fantastic
most
Four.
success for me. See, I'm
That's a
that's
fun
good.
moment.
He's like, you're right, and he's like, just like, he's like, no, regret that.
There's like even more like personal history as to why like I like really threw myself into the league for the like plus 3
Caleb,
years.
we will go
Like,
to you first.
the reason why I'm most proud of this game is I feel like this is a culmination of all of that. There's a lot of like backstory.
And,
but
Is it Deborah? I was trying to hear the question. Is it like something? Okay.
Debbie.
Sorry,
is correct.
I was gonna say
The
Deborah,
first
and I wasn't
name, that
entirely
is
sure
1
if that
point
was.
for
Well, you could
Dom.
challenge.
It is now a
Yeah.
4-point game.
I have like
I thought about
like,
that with like
Into the next
Anne,
category,
Annie.
which
well,
is
it's like in one of my last MTFO Geek match, they asked for the name of Lex Luthor's nephew. Answer was Lenny, and I'm like, that's not his name, that's his nickname. I was trying to challenge it was
Zero.
Leonard.
Mm.
Dom.
Yeah, granted, it
I
was
would say
totally
both of them.
correct,
All right,
but
Cody, what's the question?
I would say both would be.
All right. In
well, no,
Reign of
I challenged that the question was I was
Who
wrong.
falls out
I don't
of
watch
the
fucking
jet
Superman 4,
piloted by Colonel
but-
Ethan Hardy
No, I
just before he crashes into the world.
yeah, they didn't allow it. I'm not sure if it would transcend it, but that's how I approach it. Like, if you couldn't tell, I really like to challenge, so I tend to like look for those things.
Which I'll give Spence this is a thing that I have been trying to teach a lot. There's
I
an
question
art to
every
challenge.
question if I can.
There's an art to challenging, and the Kingsmen are bad at it.
That's. I'm sorry.
All the others.
Yeah,
I'll say I like to think I'm good at it. I think Scully's good at it. I think Holtzman's good at it. I think Boatman is good
The
at it.
best
in
the best
certain
faction
areas.
challenging is Dread.
I agree with that. Dredd's the best challenging. faction.
Ethan's good at
Ethan is very good, and Scott is literally
Ethan, Scott, and Jay argue their
All
points
right,
just
so we
really
are down to the
well.
final
They're the
category.
best
It is a
challenging match.
2-point game, 18-20, and the final category is Middle Earth.
So you were waiting for the right category, and it just doesn't show up. And
Doesn't show up.
yeah,
And,
so
and at this
underwhelming.
point,
It's-
even though I had just watched them all, I was not going to risk it right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was like, this is like not a category I'm
6%
willing to
from
risk
Dom
my
Zero.
entire career on right now.
Not
All
losing
right.
on middle.
It's I think of a lot of like to me like a really big match in my head that's maybe not as influential is Bounty Hunters Anonymous versus LCA.
That's Kimmer. Yeah,
Do
great match.
Yeah,
Boromir's
where it's a
bombing
match where it's like
It's
it's pretty high scoring. Oh, they're gonna win,
at the
and
end
they
of
don't
Fellowship
bet, and it
of
keeps
the
coming and coming and coming.
Well, it's because we
And-
played the right strategy. We just never got the
100%.
category.
we never got the category, and it was categories that benefited
because of
and
Shark Slayer. I would have
Antonio.
thought
Yeah.
you're fucking nuts, but
I keep thinking about that where it's like,
I don't know, that movie's fucking dumb.
in retrospect, it's always like,
It's
oh, I could have bet better. Could you?
Though?
Like, look at what
Pretty
came
much
up. Are you
strength
gonna
of
take that
public
risk? And
choice.
it's games like this where it's like,
Having
look what
bet nonstop
look
over
the history of fandom changes if you bet. Period.
And
Had
the
a great
other
match,
crazy.
and
the-
now
the other
Caleb will go
thing-
do the stats.
Oh,
The-
fucking no, sends it off down the river.
and right there,
And
my thing
Dom.
is, I knew the answer. I bet 0, and I wrote that down, and I played it up
What we
like
were
I
looking for,
didn't.
we are going to sudden
Like it was a
death.
joke.
Yeah, I played up like it was a joke that I didn't get it.
20. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so sudden death, guys.
Because like even then, it was like I was like I don't have to bet here to win necessarily. So I'm going to preserve the ruse that I don't know Miller.
And
So,
we're only
like,
halfway through the match.
I was gonna say 25 minutes is like, you know, and that was round 1, 2, and 3. We've
Yes.
got 20 fucking minutes left, pretty much to like of Sunday.
And here's the
Because
thing, this is like the normal length of a match, which is weird.
I will
Like,
say
I think
this is where the stress gets awful. Where it's like before this, I felt I got really comfortable after round 2. I was like, I think I got this. I'm about to do the unbelievable. And then it goes to sudden death, and I lose all of that. And I'm like, all right, now I'm about to choke it away. And I'm going to go down in history as the biggest choke artist in the history of fandom. I was like, I'm about to lose everything that I just got improved.
nothing will beat Rizzi when he played Scully and he choked hard and fucking fight.
Which that
Like,
match
that's
also,
what
like
it
you
is.
can get me and Scully on to tell you about that betting round call through and through. Like we sat there and literally the fuck up happens. Like the whole thing is the way we manage that betting round is very much we are not out of this and we have a chance because you're Scully and he's Rizzi and we can't give up until every question's asked.
Yeah, that is. I mean, but that's the situation. It's like you just
Yeah.
don't know how round 3 is going to play out. When
Exactly.
like, it could be a question that you know in a category that you know, but when you have an 8-point lead or it was a 10-point lead or something crazy for Blood's coming at
Yeah,
you.
we had just enough
don't
where
wanna
you could
bet.
come back and like it's like 9, I think.
You always think the worst scenario is going to happen, and sometimes it fucking does, and sometimes it doesn't. But you just don't know. Like the power of hindsight is a really crazy thing.
Yeah.
But
Any questions?
sudden
as we
death,
get into
like,
sudden death.
this must have been like just not what you were expecting.
All right.
Oh
First
no.
question.
You can see it. You can see it in my eyes now. All that confidence and
half-blood
animation you
print,
saw in the last 2 rounds, gone.
Slughorn
I'm literally
and
hiding
Haggard
in my
get
face,
drunk
like in my
together
eyes.
after attending whose funeral?
But also, like, this is so many questions. You're not getting lucky. Like, you know things. Or Dom also, like, the first time to Wizarding World, like, you're fucking, like, I'm sure, like, you are panicking.
Yeah.
So did you know it at this point? Like looking at like how you're reacting, you
5,
are like thinking about it.
3, 2.
Either question.
I forgot about the
All right,
repeat.
Caleb using a second repeat. In the Half-Blood Prince, Slughorn and Hagrid get drunk together after attending whose funeral?
So when did you remember? Like what was the thought?
I'll be
process
totally
here?
honest with you. I am almost
repeat
100%
and
confident
also
I
all
got the right
three.
answer by thinking of the wrong thing.
Really?
What were you thinking?
Because I thought about the spider,
One.
and I don't
Yeah.
think I listened to what was happening because I don't think back then I knew it was
And
Dom.
Aragog.
Because, and I'll tell you how I got that answer.
Correct.
I think I thought of the spider, and I've said it before. I only can pull back then. I pulled the name of the spider because of a Harry Potter senior year. The Star
Yeah.
Kid musical got me the name Aragog, not the movies.
Wow.
It's the reason I'll always know, like, it's a throwaway line in the original movie. But I will always know that the prince who comes to court Jasmine Aladdin's name is Ahmed.
Ahmed. Yeah, forever.
I did not know that.
Forever we'll know his
Tiger,
name is
tiger,
Ahmed. And
tiger.
Spencer and I will know it for the same reason.
Jake, I think if you like
Ryan
Aladdin, you're gonna
Reynolds
love
went his
Twisted.
I love
to
Twisted.
Turbo.
It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite
Sorry,
musicals.
what was that?
I love the musical Twisted, which is
So
what we were
it's like it's
Wicked for
Aladdin from Jafar's perspective, but like how Wicked is from which is Wicked.
and it's very meta on Disney and Pixar. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Ahmed
sounds
fucked a
good.
tiger.
Stop it.
We're gonna get you cancelled in a second.
You got me on the show. What do you expect?
That's a good point. Yeah, I have myself to blame.
2 drinks in.
Next question.
Black cherry soda.
What was
I'll
it?
also
Sorry,
say
what
this-
was it?
There was a point here where we were like, every time we
So would
hit,
just cycle back
and we got closer to 26.
We'll just
I
go
went
back and
26
forth.
is the number. I went 26 is the magic number of the points record, and I might be able. When that started becoming a reach, part of me was like, I want to hit just enough to break the points record, just so I have something to show
One
for this match.
pens down.
Oh yeah.
We are going to Dom first,
Cruz.
and Caleb.
Cruz.
I mean, I have a little bit of a controversy. I don't want to say a hot take, but I don't know how I feel about the points record is because of the sudden death. Like
That's fully fair.
format.
I get that. I get that too.
But it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, but what do you do with it?
Next
So
question, guys.
the highest
Lord
scoring
of
match
Denethor
maybe in the history of Phantom
middle
Singles
versus
is
series
33 to
has
32.
How many sons?
This one.
I love how quick you wrote that. That was great.
This is
I don't like
last
Some of
time
the
we
like
wrote
I sometimes I'm very proud looking
You.
back at myself and knowing things really quickly
We
and
were
how
just
fast I
not
know things.
thinking.
I'm just like, good for
We
you,
were
young
just-
me.
It's a good feeling. Yeah.
It's a good feeling,
that's
just
fair.
being like, yeah, no.
I think I don't know if you have the sheets, but I remember there was conversation about like the highest 3-round versus 3-round plus sudden death points record.
Both are correct.
I don't. Yeah.
Again, that's not a decision I get to make anymore.
Oh no, I thought you had. I thought someone had the stats somewhere. Maybe it was
Twig has,
Go when he had
Twig
like
has
a-
the stats on all Phantom things that he took over that when I left. He took over that job for me. So he has my stat book.
We ever thought about what it would be like.
I
to have
I
a
also
brother
just want
that
to
was-
add, this is the
No,
third
'cause that seems very
third match
boring
that
or
we're
very
covering where
dangerous.
Rizzi loses. And they've all been in
This is a
fandom.
bummer for Rizzi. Like
Yeah.
that's
and
gonna feel so
we
shitty.
talked about this last week, but with
You?
Bode as well. Like he's been in so many great matches. It's just he's been on the losing end. It's just like kind of unfortunate, but like
I think that
that's
comes
just what
from
it is.
the reason why we
like you're
herald these
killing
matches
one of the
so
best
much.
players.
The reason why we herald these matches so much is because of how good he is in them, and that's why it makes the person who wins look even better because they won it. And that's
Yeah.
gonna
Oh, yeah.
like if I have the reputation Rizzi does, I would quit too. I would hate my entire career of like every match that we talk about is a match where I lost barely, and the other person's heralded as great because they were able to beat
We got a
me,
white
like
thing
me.
question.
Like
Because
I
it's
would
like
I would
we've-
literally hate that so much.
The amount of matches that Rizzi has had in fandom that applies to that is like his match against Maggie, this match, his match against Jacoby, his match against Scully, his match against fucking Kasna even.
Every time Rizzi loses, it's a big deal.
It is, and it's like, and they're all like sudden death, crazy close matches, and he's just like,
We will start with Dom.
because he's that
It's.
good.
I think a lot of players could be the same way. Like I think Scully could be like probably he keeps losing the same person over and over.
Incorrect. The answer we were looking
Like
for
it's
was
just
Denethor.
it's. I think Rizzi would have less of this
That
like
phone is so
attitude.
fucking loud.
Yeah.
Sorry not to
There's
cut you off, but it's
There's also a
Alright, guys, your next
huge sense of
question.
relief on my face after that one. If you see it again where it says lawyer and then mailman, I literally go, this could be it, mailman.
Hands down.
And-
We will start with Dom
Lawyer.
and Caleb.
I said mailman.
Both are incorrect. The answer we were looking for was dentist.
But I think Rizzi, someone like I think he would probably care more about how we see him if he cared about the game. Like he's something like he showed
Oh, yeah.
like I think I said even like last week about Dustin, it applies to him as well, where it's like they've played in like the Snowball Classic Championship so often because they love just showing up and doing shit.
yeah.
And like the Rizzi's as good a fan as he is sort of
It's like when
wild
know
when you
the
consider like
question's coming and you
how
know they're both going to hit it. So
much
you have to
effort that
continue this
takes.
agony. Yeah, it's
If you just put just a little bit more into it, just a little bit, like
what's the
I-
point record?
it would be a big
26.
deal. I just love that you just
See,
knew
hold
what the
on, I
record
just
is
said
and
it
you're
right there,
like, I'm
too.
waiting for it.
If you see it right there, I just said it. Cody goes,
Watchmen.
man, what's the point record? I go, 26.
All right.
I like smugly say 26 because I know we're coming up on it, and all I
We
want
gotta
is
get to
right
that.
now.
Where are we going? Back to the.
And that's
I
the other
just
thing is I love Cody on the desk for this so much. We talked about it already. I think Cody's a great host for
Alright.
matches, for shows. I
Who
love Cody.
plays
He's one of my best friends. So like I love Cody on everything, but we don't talk about enough how great he is at just like every facet of what he does. It's kind of, I think Cody's one of the most underratedly talented people to ever be in this community in every facet of what he does.
Yeah, not just managing, but
Looks
just
like you just-
hosting.
Managing, hosting,
running.
playing, show running,
That was
editing.
one.
The dude edits, and he does a great job at it. Like Cody does
Julie
a
Walters.
lot.
and Dom.
So, Jake, I think I talked to you about this one-on-one, or at least you mentioned maybe you
Almost
to me
said Julie
before,
got. So.
of like
Yikes, yeah, that would have been rough. Okay, we have just tied.
it always
points record, both
sucks
competitors.
when your opponent sets the point records
As we get into
because you sort of
next
did
question.
too. Or like,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you mentioned it
In
after your
Madagascar,
pain and gain match.
When the four
Of like,
main
they broke the
characters
points
arrived
record.
to Madagascar,
You
they
get the
believed it
four-pointer.
was a zoo in
You broke the
what
points record.
city?
And it's like they could have held that. And they took away from them like a minute later.
We didn't
Just
try to.
gush
Just
one
vote
more
them.
time on
You
Cody.
pulled a La La Land on.
Yeah,
It kind of is, yeah.
I'm gonna gush one last time on Cody
Yeah,
and
the
just
second
say
one's- but, oh.
I would not be not just the player that I am.
Hands
I wouldn't be
down,
the person that I
Dom.
am if I had never met
San
Cody.
Diego.
So
And
the
Caleb.
king, Caleb
San
Koho, the
Diego.
personality, the player, the manager, all of
Correct.
it is directly linked to Cody Newberry. He made me better. He continues to make me better. I played as good as I did against Twig because of how hard he
Okay. I
worked
think
me
I'm
too.
right.
So.
Yep, that's who we are. Okay.
Cody
I
is
felt like
Cody,
you just gave
Cody is
like,
the best manager that I've never had officially.
you just give like your vows to Cody.
What? Grown.
Like you're holding his
Very
hand.
nice.
I mean, he's one of the best friends I've ever had in my life.
In
so
the
I love
Battle
Cody
of the
for that.
Five Armies, Thorin thinks he has caught Bilbo hiding.
You
the
can see it on
Ark
Cody's face. I
in
love
his
it. The way
hand. But
Cody's
what is
reacting
he
to this too.
actually holding?
Also, the thing that I've always noticed is Rizzi doesn't use repeats. He just doesn't. He fires from the hip. He knows it or he doesn't.
Enjoy my
I
Panera.
bet
And he
he
just
just
takes that
forgets that
shot,
those
doesn't
repeats.
take his time. So that's why I think that's one of the things that I will attribute to this. Is I'm pretty sure I have no repeats by the end, and he has all three by the end. And though using repeats probably gives Rizzi a win.
Could have helped him.
All right, Caleb
Yeah.
using his last
Just give him a
repeat.
bit of time.
Last
So
one.
you used a
Battle of the
repeat.
Five
Like,
Armies.
did you even think that
Thorin
Rizzi's got
thinks
it?
He has caught Bilbo.
He had his
hiding in
board.
Arkansas.
I said
Yes,
at this
what
point,
up?
I thought
What
he
is
had
he
it. I needed to
actually
have
holding?
this. Every question from here on out, it's I need to hit this or it's over.
Mhm.
I was like, because I assumed Rizzi had the right answer every time we got to a question.
I'm 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We'll start with Caleb
This is game, guys. I said a gold coin.
and Dom.
The One Ring?
Both incorrect. We were looking for.
Because
You
I
heard
remember
it
watching
there,
this
my
for the
voice.
first time and thinking, "Oh, this is gonna
Yeah.
end here."
You can hear it in my voice. I was so defeated. I thought I had just lost.
But now you gotta get
After
yourself
just
back up and like,
like
"Oh, still on. It's on the next one."
The song that Cap and Peggy danced to at the end of Endgame. What
So-
other MCU film can that song be found?
Can
I
I,
want-
can I just say real quick? I'm so disgusted with how fast I went to the board on the song that they
It's so
sing.
gross how much these people know.
I started writing down the name of the song.
Dom gets
Without
the exact
thinking
same
about
thing
it.
Not
I
knowing
guessed
what the movie,
the
that's
test on the
good.
Flashback
That is
question.
I want to point out Payson's comment of like Koho's gonna pull a Harry Potter and he's gonna name his
Can you
kid like
imagine if he got
Cody
an actual
Caleb Coho.
crazy
Why would I name him
Caleb
after
with a
me?
C?
One. Pens down. We'll start with
No,
Dom.
if I were doing that, it'd be like Cody Kane Coho. Like it would be the two people who like defined me as a person in this
And we
community.
keep going. 28 to 28.
All right, guys. I think I'm on the right one. Let's hope. Yeah.
Because we're like what 20? How long has it's been?
Who
What
played
10,
This is
11
question
questions
8, I
in?
believe.
It's question
John
8?
Carter.
Yeah.
I think this I think
No,
this
no.
match goes
This is question 10, but
15
like,
into sudden
This
death.
one correctly, and I was quite proud of
I think it's
myself
15
Because
questions.
it was 2020, right?
2020.
Yeah.
So we were 8 in sudden death. We go 12. We go 12
and
questions.
now
in
it's
sudden death.
2022.
No, we go
Because
13
you
questions.
guys missed a question, so this is 10.
We
This is
missed 2
question 10.
each.
I just never, I
Yeah.
never have.
Oh, you've already missed the. Yeah, okay. So this is
We've
question
already missed
11
both the
then.
questions we were going to miss. And
Yeah, this
my
is-
final points is 33.
I think it just came on.
I think.
Spoiler alerts.
One.
So
Pens down,
it's-
going
It's been
to
out
I
for like
think
almost
I
12
think we went
questions.
15 questions into sudden death.
and Caleb.
Taylor Kitch.
That is
I-
correct.
I-
You guys missed
9
2
to
already,
9.
so
Next question.
God, we should do a miscellaneous of like Jake versus Michael
How
and like
does
multiplex
Judge
trivia.
Cirillo
It'd be
die
gross.
in
That'd be
Dark
tough, yeah.
Knight?
I would be totally down to write a multiplex trivia exhibition.
I
Or
really want
miscellaneous,
that.
and I
Because
would-
every
I would
time in
absolutely have
miscellaneous,
to
I get
do Michael and
multiplex. I
Bowman.
get it all right. I
Like
just
you,
don't
Michael, and
know.
Bowman would all have to
I thought
play,
that
and we just have to
match
see.
was
I'd have to write like 1,000
Cody
questions and see who I can
Bowman
stump.
is-
Yeah.
So you just pull a Phantom Oscar and just write really deep and like use your brain.
Well, no,
I
I would just legitimately write everything you can about the history of multiplex into one video, and that's how we retire multiplex trivia on the wheel. Like,
And Taylor.
It'll be shit like who did Cameron Holtzman beat in the quarterfinals of the 2020? Like it'd be shit like that where you'd have to be like, okay, that's how you would know.
I mean, he didn't win in the quarterfinals. No, he beat you in the quarterfinals. No, he lost.
He beat me in the quarterfinals.
Wait, what did I miss? Hold on, can we go back for a second? I just totally missed something.
Okay.
I just made like an I'm gonna challenge face, so I'm not sure.
About to give you both the point.
Oh wait, a bit more.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what I just said.
We'll give you
I'll just
Dom
Car bomb.
and Taylor.
It's a car explosion. No actual bomb.
Because of a car bomb, we'll give you both the point.
It's playing cards in the engine. That's why.
I'm about to give you both the point, but you can challenge if you'd like. The answer we have is car bomb.
Okay.
I mean, why wouldn't you challenge that though?
You went to town.
Because at this point I don't. At this point it didn't sound like I would win. I think in that moment it sounded like I don't think I would have won that challenge. I was like, okay.
What was the question?
I think it was how does the judge die in the Joker from the Joker in the Dark Knight.
Okay, yeah. Well,
and I said car explosion, and he said car bomb, and I'm pretty sure it's playing cards in the engine. I think Tim's correct about car bomb. I think at that point is looking for any way to win. I think it's me at that point just trying to think of a way to find a way to win. At that point, I think that's why I brushed it off, because another match that happens at this time is me v Tim in Full Metal Geek, which is a match that I'm extremely proud of because I won it. But it came down to a Middle Earth challenge where Tim was technically incorrect, but I didn't want to win that way, so I didn't challenge, and then Tim beat me in sudden death. But that's I think it's the same way where at that point it was like I just don't want to win. I was in a part where it's like I want to prove that I'm better than you by beating you straight up. I don't want to win on a challenge.
Yeah.
Even though the way I was now I'm not past that.
To win. Yeah.
I'm not over that anymore. I'm not above that. I'll fucking win my challenge any day.
Yeah.
But I had a weird sense of like I need to prove myself by winning outright.
As we get in the next question,
We go back to the top, right?
Go back to the top, baby.
Okay. What body part does Grindelwald regrow for Mr. Abernathy after he helps Grindelwald escape from the beginning of Crimes of
I wonder if we
Grindelwald?
both missed this one too, because I would be very surprised if I knew this back then.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it till like after this match.
I had a very hard time
Like,
remembering. I still do have a hard time remembering
I
anything
was
from
like,
this movie.
Fantastic Beasts wasn't so bad.
I think
I've
it's
seen it
also
like
because
4 times
There's
now.
so many other Phantom movies are from the 2000s, and when
This
we
one
were
was
kids in
rough.
the
The first time I
2000s, you
saw
see
it,
them
I
all the
liked it.
time. You kind of just gain that knowledge.
Right.
With newer movies, it's like it's a little different. It's a little weird.
We'll go to
It's
Taylor.
it depends on the movie. Like I'm sure No Way Home and The Batman, I'll be able to go forever. I'll be able to go deep into those movies because I've seen them a
Both
ton.
are incorrect. The answer we're looking
Okay,
for
so we
was
each missed 3.
tongue.
Yeah.
How do they both miss?
It's
I
crazy,
would have
like,
known
the
that. I
misses
know that
you
one
made.
now, and actually that frustrates me. I could have won this then, but
All right. I have a feeling you're both gonna hit.
I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack at some point during this fucking match. All right.
And this is also like during the time where this went to sudden death, me versus Holtzman went to sudden death,
And
Chuck
Minchaka
versus
Bryan went to
Matt,
sudden death
Minchaka
like I
Bryan.
think a few weeks
The
later.
next question.
Yeah.
Minchaka Bryan happened all like same time as this match.
Accidentally chosen to be
So many
what?
matches during this time were in sudden death, and we had both tournaments happening, and it was all
I
like
thought we were
sudden
gonna do that a
death.
couple times.
Matches in
Minchaka
between.
Bryan and you Holtzman taped in the same week.
I thought when
And
I-
Kirk and
I-
Matt, that was the day after Holtzman and I recorded our
3 times
match.
and 4 times.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
We're getting really fucking lucky.
2, 1.
Can tell.
Pens down. We're going to Dom first.
Dragon Warrior.
Caleb.
Oh, no accents. The Dragon Warrior.
Both
I
are
also
correct.
right there
31
did
to
another
31.
thing to try and cover my Middle Earth tracks.
Can't
I
wait
was
to
like,
edit
it's almost
this.
like I'm getting really fucking lucky on Middle Earth. And Cody goes, I can tell.
All right, guys. See if you survive another round. After Gollum found the ring, where did he go for 500 years?
So like, bang. Would you have known that like 6 months before this match?
Yes. This one I would.
Yes.
This
Oh,
is
this
one
one
of
you
those
know?
where it's
Just
like
watch the
there are
movie.
some things from Lord of the Rings that I just know from
It really
osmosis
just
of being in this
turns
community at this
into
point
my
for 4
whole-
years.
This one because I
I guess three and a half years.
Yeah, no, I'll stand by. It's like, especially like categories that I'm not as strong in, I got better just talking to people about it.
Yeah.
Like having friends in this community genuinely helps you because you keep
Correct.
talking about what you're
32 to
watching.
32. All right, next question.
Robert Parker, eat your heart out. We just broke your 5-round record in 3. Okay.
All right.
I forgot I said that.
What wizarding world? What?
I'm having
We're
fun.
good? Oh, good.
Oh,
Which wizarding
well.
world composer has composed the least?
This is it,
amount
right?
of
This is the last
Yeah.
question.
world
I think that's
Which is-
actually really sad that Rizzi goes, I'm having fun, and the next question
this is
he
the
loses.
weirdest question to go out on too.
This
It's
is-
like
yeah.
it's in one of his biggest strengths.
No, watch my
You gotta
reaction.
guess the one.
My
Yeah.
reaction on this is
So it's a-
completely
it's a-
baffled
it's a
that this is
hang-
what I went on.
Right.
It's a mess. It's a mess. I don't.
I rewatched like this answer a few times because it's literally just like
3,
Because it's Nicholas Hooper, right?
1.
No, it's
We'll go to
Patrick
Patrick
Doyle.
Doyle.
Good job,
Oh.
Koho. I got nothing.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Caleb.
Patrick Doyle.
And your winner, Caleb.
You know what? I just realized I've got the context
Score of
was on this whole time.
Yeah.
That's fair.
30
Well, we were interviewing
Pretty
Caleb
tight.
Context Koho, right?
match, Cody.
Can we just see your
I will
reaction?
say that is my favorite reaction to anything I've
Patrick
ever
Doyle.
done.
And your winner, Caleb.
That's my
Koho,
favorite match reaction I've
with a
had.
Score of
My least favorite is also a
33
win.
to 30.
In Warzone when I beat Aaron J.
What a match!
Because
Oh,
I was
Cody,
so stressed on the
we went
last
to
one,
sudden
even though
death.
I knew I had
we
won.
went
And I like
a lot
threw
of
my
questions
board,
in
got up and like
sudden
went
death. I
around
don't
my
even
room like,
remember what
yes,
was-
and it's
what
so
was 20 to
embarrassing.
20?
I think it's such an
When we
embarrassing,
started this,
inappropriate
and,
reaction to a
we
win
got up to 13
on my
more
part, and
points,
I'm
coming
really
with questions
embarrassed by
15
that
to
way,
16
by that
questions
reaction. But it was also
into
one where it was like
sudden
I really wanted to win. That
How are
one.
you feeling after
Yeah.
the match?
Man, who,
I mean,
who
good
would
luck
throw their
everybody else.
board
This
during a
is
trivia
mess to
match?
beat right now,
I mean, it
regardless
happens a
of
lot,
who
but that was one where it's like
like,
that's an unnecessary reaction.
Like Koho got super lucky throughout that entire game. Like at times,
Can't
because
tell the
he
threat.
got into two categories that he's watched or like
Can I
knows
neither
about.
confirm nor deny
Like
drugs
this
were in
Wizarding
this
World, but
match?
then the Middle Earth, like he doesn't.
Well,
know
I
Middle Earth
don't think you
well,
know,
and
Jake.
for
Is the
Dom to miss on those
problem.
ones and
Well, that's
You can't
true.
confirm or
hit
deny.
or to survive.
Yeah, I can't.
And they kept missing the same ones. I thought he would at least throw down some kind of composer. He threw down nothing, and that was
Yeah,
just,
and he didn't even have a
I
guess,
don't
which
know,
is
a little anticlimactic.
he's like a
That's-
data guy, right?
That was my
And
biggest
then
pet
we
peeve with
tell
Rizzi
this
as a
like,
manager was
no,
if he didn't
I
even
knew
have
Koho
an
wasn't gonna
inkling of a
miss that
guess, he
one.
wouldn't even
Yeah,
try.
hats off to Koho.
And
He
that
definitely
bothered
did
me so much as a manager.
He had
I
three
I
repeats.
preached
Next round.
I preached no blank boards all season 2. So
And he didn't even. Yeah, I mean, Adelaide said like he had 3 repeats, and even though he could have used them, he didn't. Like,
I
it's
think that's
pretty
a
good.
big contributing factor to the win. Also, you see my repeat counter is 0 and his is 3.
32 points. You went like 15 questions into sudden death. You fought your way back. You got a.
So they went through like two, like a half, like 1.5 round one.
We
Yeah,
went
it's
through
a
almost
crazy
no.
match.
They used the round
Well,
2.
the first thing I'm going to say
Oh.
is that match. did not
I
at
think
all
we
go the way
went
that I
through
thought it
an
was gonna be. By the
entire
way,
match
I'm
not
actually really happy because
No
A,
question.
we both
There was
scored
nothing
so
left to
correctly.
test at the end of that.
B, and I also just want to make it clear right here that I
Yeah,
legitimately
there because I
what's it called? That wasn't just me throwing the match. Also, like I legitimately did.
15 and 10
5:30. Like you had like I think like 10 more questions to go.
I'm done.
Yeah,
So,
before we were out.
yeah, that was a result of that. So yeah, a little anticlimactic, I admit, and it sucks that I had to lose on a Harry Potter question. But yeah, all I know is I had a blast playing that. That was
He has the
most
Chris
intense
Diaz
match
cam right
I've
now.
played.
Yeah, the tungsten
Honestly, like I said,
lighting
no,
there.
no offense, Tim, but this might be more intense than our champ match. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was easily probably like the most fun that I've had.
It's
playing
just crazy that he
ever.
won that, though.
And yeah, like I said,
It's
I'm
like-
not
I'll be
mad
honest,
that
that's
I
the
lost.
match where
we
like
both- we took it right
we
to the
all were
limit.
like, this is Tim's free.
Yeah,
win,
no,
basically,
absolutely
what it's
insane. Again, 30.
And Tim got fucked. Tim got fucked really bad. That's some bad questions.
I mean, that caused the
at a-
change in round.
Yeah,
round
7-point
4.
deficit in round 3. That's nuts. So you hit a few questions that Koho even got wrong in round 3, but he bet the way and it just happened to go. It was crazy match. So unfortunately, that does mean that
This match really was just like a
time
chisel versus
here
a
in this
hammer,
tournament is done.
and then you
but
just
what
kept,
it
like,
does also
hitting
mean
back.
that we will see you back
Oh, definitely.
later at the beginning of
No,
the fall.
I just think
So
a lot of
who's-
players.
so wait, is Koho the chisel?
Jacoby
Yeah.
Bancroft, who just lost
Like he's betting smart. He knows what he needs to do to win,
Twig. So
and
how do
just the
you feel
chisel
about
became the hammer at the
Jacoby?
end.
Yeah.
I pride myself on being one of the best at strategy in the entire league.
Oh,
At this point,
100%.
I know Cody's
So
not
I
the
feel
biggest
like the
fan of
betting
fact
round
that
is
I
around
heard that
where
I
I
don't
always
care.
feel,
It's not that I don't care,
especially
it's just
this
a
year,
matter
I
of
felt
this is
more
just where my
comfortable in a betting
priorities
round
are.
situation
I've
than
made
I
it clear
felt in
since day
any
one,
other round
I'm not in it for the
all
bells. I'm here
year
to
long.
play and have fun. And yeah.
Where it was just like,
So,
okay, I know I
that's
gotta
all
do
I gotta say
here,
there.
here, and here, and how I
Awesome.
feel.
Well, thanks for
I
being
was
part of the
brutally
great
honest with
match.
myself
We
on
will
every
see
question,
you
every category,
later
how I
on this year
felt,
against
and I was like,
Cody.
alright, this is what I
We
gotta
will
do.
now bring in the man, the myth, the legend. You just
No,
won
it's also
a
weird to
sudden
see
death,
you
a lot
like
of questions.
without
How are you
anyone.
feeling?
Like no Scully,
I
no
kept
Boatman,
thinking I
no
was gonna
Holtzman.
lose
no
Like
Mavericks
you're
are
just
really
death round
there.
at Wizarding World or Middle Earth. Just because last time I went that deep into sudden death, Cody kicked my ass. And
That's
so
true.
playing
I had a lot of
Rizzi, I was
PTSD from that one
when's
also.
Magic gonna run out?
You versus Cody is such a weird
Rizzi's-
match.
Rizzi's
Well,
one
there's
of
like
the
3 or
best
4 times where I have the right
to
answer
play.
and I erase it.
And
That's the match where I
got
second guess myself out of a win.
I got my
Like
strength.
2020 is also like a year where you became like a more
That
confident
worked out in my
player.
favor. This
Well, I
whole
focused
match
more
just-
on myself
it
as a
worked
player
in
than
my
I did
favor. I got
anything
really
else in
lucky
2020.
today.
It's like I think there's like a
to have a
difference in
record
attitude to the way you
that
carry
mine
yourself in those things.
Is really cool.
Yeah.
That's a
Like
really
I do feel like once you
Yeah,
come in,
I
and it is
don't
the
see
Aaron
that
J
record
match, and
going
it is
away anytime
your
soon.
who do you start off with
33
again in
points in a
2020?
three-round match is
I started off.
fucking insane. In any match,
wasn't it against Jay?
random singles
Tuna.
match, 33
I
points.
beat
So,
Aaron J in
congratulations
Warzone
on
and I
that.
beat
It does
Nazario in
mean,
Phantom.
Sorry.
you are
I don't remember the Nazario
I
match
mean,
super well, but I know like this
play
tournament, like I like talking to you, like getting to know you during this time in like
obviously
2019, like you
decided
carry
that
yourself
me and
differently.
Cody are,
And I think you see a lot of it
how
here.
are you feeling?
Well,
going
it's because
into that
at this
match?
point, I mean,
The
you
goal
can watch
from
this
day one
match
was
and you can
semis.
watch a
Going
match
into
from
this
season
tournament, I've
1
done it.
and
I
just
made two
see
semis. If I
complete
lose to
growth,
Tuig,
not just as like a
I
player, but
can't
just
be
as a
mad.
human.
Tuig's
Yeah.
one of the best to play the game.
This is one of the
You
most
shaved your
genuine moments I've ever
mustache,
had
you're
on
more
screen
confident.
right
You got new hair.
I'm
That's
excited
it.
to play him.
This is one of the most genuine moments I've ever had on screen, where I genuinely
Maybe I
was
can hang
just
with
so
Tuig,
overcome
too.
by
We'll see.
winning this that it's just
Nick's nice sometimes when he chooses to be. So we'll see how it goes. Good luck, Nick. You get ready. I'll get ready. We'll
You're
see how
going
it
to die.
And then Cody's like,
Probably
snap.
losing. Listen, I want to say something. As
Greatest moment of your
I
life.
think I
Go
won't take
fuck
anything away from
yourself.
you, because put everything aside, we are friends at the end of the day, and I think you just played literally the match of the year. I don't think anybody in this world can top you. You had a lot of things go your way tonight, so I think that's also beneficial, just because you got a strength, you gave him opponent, so there was that mismatch. But at the end of the day, he did fight back, and you made the game how you made it. So I don't want to take anything from you. I will be voting. Besides, if something else tops this, you will be match of the year.
Nothing had topped this match.
That's my hope.
I can't even think of a match that came close. Probably Rizzi Scully too.
The one thing is, if you're not winning the title, you will win match of the year.
that's
I think
what
what you said about like a game like it went into sudden death. There was also I think it was like a less competitive one.
Agreed.
Like this one
All right,
genuinely
so
felt.
we will see you very
That
soon
one was also a title
with
match.
The next match, Cody, you just kind of gave your.
I think a lot of the pre-Tuig title matches can be a little bit underwhelming.
Sometimes it depends on like when Tuig just like beats everyone. It's really like man.
I would say there's only one title match that Tuig plays in singles where it's just like this is over before it starts, and that's the first time he beat Scully. It was a massacre. And every match he plays after that, it's at least competitive. Like Maggie's kind of close. I keep it close. Scully keeps it close. Scully literally basically won that triple threat until the last. Like he was winning it
until the last 2 questions.
It came down the last one. Menchaca kept it close. Like everyone who's played Tuig since is able to be competitive. But Tuig is the best to ever play the game, and that's an undisputed fact.
It's
hard to beat
Scully. I like the next.
And Scully's the only. I think Scully's the one who's come the closest to even contesting that title.
Yeah.
So
I mentioned before, like I got into this during the Jeremy era of like he was dominating Warzone and Full Metal, and like he was not losing anything. Every match I was like, this is boring. I don't want to watch title matches because it's not a fair game. He's gonna kill everyone. And then I watch Boat and we're like, oh shit, that's close. And then you come around, you fucker, Jakey 3 belts. Like, okay, this is it. And then
I remember the Jakey 3 belts era. Oh,
I do think 2020 is like a defining, like a big change in the community of like everything seems like more balanced and competitive. Everything feels like a lot more natural. I feel like 2019, and to me, this is another match.
I don't think there's any Jeremy in 2020.
He played one.
He played one Phantom match at the beginning of 2020.
One Phantom match and one Warzone match. So he played 2 matches.
2020 was the year where it was the first year where we had no Robert, no Jeremy,
and it was
No Nico as manager.
Yeah, it was very much just like
that.
yeah, I remember that. It was just very much
we really
like
hit our stride.
Yeah, that was the year where it was the first time where since it started where it's like this feels like anything can legitimately happen. And the season paid off that way through and through. We had the belt change hands multiple times throughout the entire season. Some of the best people to ever hold the belts have ever held the belts and played for the belts in that one season. Like Maggie finally played for her belt. I loved
2020 defined like the future of all is like creating the biggest players we know today.
I think 2020 also arguably is the year where the best rookie class ever became who they were. Yeah. The year before you had Maggie, Scully, Albert, Boatman, Tuig, all in one Phantom class. And the next year they all come out and they play their best years across their leagues. All of them just come out and just kill.
Yeah. So I mean, look out for Ginyu this season.
Look out for Pace. I think Pace is about to have a huge season. Brittany's about to have a huge season.
Brittany, Tyler even. I reckon
Tyler's about to have a big year.
Like this, it's crazy because I mean I'm really biased because concept, but 2020 was like my favorite season, despite having like. But I mean, and I'm trying to be less biased because of it because I mean I had a loss against Holtzman and I lost the belt. Both belts that season. We just got the team swap back, but that's just seemed the most consistent across not just Warzone but fandom and
Bar. Even that's the beginning of Bar. That's the year where Boatman gets Boatman wins the whole thing. Like it was huge. I think
also the first year we did the free for all. Well,
the first last one standing. The
first time in
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, as it was called, yeah. Like there was a lot that just came from 2020.
You get turmoil,
fucking mix up, which is fun to do.
Everything. I feel like that was just the best year we had, and like every year since has been really good and
we're trying to up it
consistently, and it's been consistent with that year.
It's like 2018, 2019, 2020, and then 2021, it's still.
I think this year has the I think this year has the full potential to beat 2020.
There's definitely a chance.
I think that comes from Tim and Tuig going away, and you and Michael taking a step back. I think that comes from a lot of big talent that dominated in the last 2 years taking another. It's the Roberts and the Jeremy stepping back again.
It comes down to is Joe going to become the new Tuig? Is Scully going to be able to go take the back and forth that he could have had with Tuig? Is Meltzer going to stay like a dominant Warzone champ where he's like pulling the Jeremy at the Jake, having it both of them at the same time? And, everything is up in the air about are they changing hands? Is the division very healthy and live?
And we're still at the beginning of the season, guys.
We just started.
Yeah, we only had one time match in each division. We're still waiting.
Yeah,
that's so good. But holy fucking shit! What a crazy match this has been.
I love that match.
Honestly, it's been at least over a year for me because I will rewatch it every now and then just because it's like a crazy ass match. We'd lead that match and the America's Asses against Schizo. Those two matches, because that is very similar to the Bounty Hunters against Lats Cameron Action, where we were just out of it, and then round 3 it was a crazy comeback. But those two matches are the two best fandom matches of 2020 in my honest opinion. Outside of title matches like Scully versus Scully versus fucking Rizzi, there's just so many great matches. That's why there was 7 fucking nominees for match of the year for both Warzone and Fandom. There were that many great matches. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I the sort of button I'll put on that match is just for me that's the defining moment where I feel like people I have always had this weird thing where it's every time that just comes from when I started. Everyone always sort of undervaluing where I'm at, and I always try to keep it real with myself in a way where it's I think I'm good. I think I'm I have the potential to be one of the best, but I'm never gonna sit here and be oh, I've earned that. And I always want to try and earn that. And this match is the first match I think I play in singles ever where people go, okay, Kaleb is a legitimate title contender.
Not just this match, but the tournament itself is when I think people even the match against Eli, I would say, is when you started.
Right.
People started to realize, oh wait, this guy's top 5 fandom.
Right. Where it's just I stopped being the guy who had a couple lucky team matches and played for the team belts twice, and now I'm me. And I think now every time since this match that I've played someone, there's an air of I can't take him lightly ever again. I think that went away with Rizzi. And that's something I'm really proud of. I'm proud that match is the thing that I can point to as the moment in my career where I stopped being 500 hit or miss to top 10 playing the game maybe ever.
Well, it's like your trajectory since then is like you are always playing for titles. Because like you play Tuig and like that's a great match, but you lose. You play RJ, who is still like in my head like a really good player.
RJ was great.
Yeah.
RJ was great.
He doesn't have the strategy back.
He played for the singles title, and he was Robert's last title match. Like you can't deny Robert or RJ had one of the greatest runs in fandom. Also, like
you
at
lose
the end
him,
of 2019, just a great run.
You beat him and lose to Maggie, who has one of the best title matches ever.
I almost beat Maggie, and Maggie deserved to beat the shit out of me.
And after that, then you beat.
I had no business keeping it that close with Maggie,
which is a banger match, and you beat Joe, which is maybe like your second.
I never expected to win that. I'll be honest, I never expected to beat Joe.
And then you get because you basically win the match on a fucking quotes question. Like it's nuts.
I don't remember.
Is that the Cars 3?
It's the Cars 3 question.
I don't remember that question. I don't remember that match. It's all blur.
Should we watch it?
Wow.
It's pretty good.
No, my entire career is a blur. I'll remember key moments. I'll always remember Patrick Doyle. Like I'll remember certain questions that like that's the defining.
Patrick Doyle. I will always forget. I'll never forget Desperately Seeking Susan against Jeremy. Like and we all have that one fucking question or shit.
There's questions that I'll always remember as like that's a defining moment of me as a player, and Patrick Doyle is probably number one on that list. But I don't remember that one.
I can say like I remember I was driving with my partner back from school for spring break, and the match drops, and I'm watching and I hear that, and I feel like, and I put Jake and I see Joke down like the answer I was guessing. I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? And they say he's wrong. I'm like, holy fuck, this is it. And they're like, why are you screaming? What is wrong? And it's like I know the result, but like going, it's like it's so like I was happy for you winning, but also it was something I think like we talked too much. Like I tend to like undervalue as a player, and you tell me that a lot. And I have to rewatch these matches where like, no, I'm just an asshole, and I can see like your great potential, like what you're doing as a competitor, and it's like genuinely like a world where I can play you now as I'm like trying to be a better player, and I am once again terrified existing in your space.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I think about where I went after, and I'm very proud of where I went after, and I'm not very proud of where I went after the title match, which is what fuels what this year is for me. So I'll say this straight up. I have not played any of the matches I got this year. You have not seen any of the matches I played this year, but my whole mantra this year is I'm winning one. I'm winning one this year.
This could be it.
This is for me. This is I'm telling myself now or never. This is where you win it or you.
And this is recorded, and this is going to be on the Video Store channel, and it will never be deleted. This is it. You're saying it for the season.
I'll say it. Yeah, this is it. Like I have to win one this year, and I don't care what division it is. I don't care if it's teams or singles. I have to win one. And I think I can. I want to play for the belt again. I want to go for the belt again in singles because I think I made a run. I made a real run against the greatest person to ever hold the belt, like the greatest player to ever hold the belt. I think I held my own well, and I think now that he's gone, there's a chance I could actually hold it. And I want you don't know how bad I want.
The current champion, one of his like 2 or 3 losses is you.
I would say he's lost twice, and once
it's to you and
it's Skull. And it's both members of Manhattan have beaten Joe Fairley.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And he's also avenged both losses.
I mean, true, but it's one of those where it's like I would love nothing more than to end the trilogy in 5 rounds in the biggest match on the biggest stage of my entire career and put everything out there.
We need a situation.
You do it live. Joe in America
and Scully in a triple threat title match. I don't know how that's going to happen
though. Like,
I mean, I don't think that would happen yet, but I think if I come in and I beat Joe and Joe's beaten Scully and Scully's beaten me, if Scully comes in and beats me, I can see us maybe not this year or maybe into next year, or maybe it is the last match of this year, me, Joe, Scully, triple threat. And that establishes who the next 3 are, which would be really cool. Absolutely. I will say this, I would love to be considered one of the top 3 in this league. And that's a goal. I would love to be one of the top. I would love when people think of fandom, it's me, Joe, and Scully. And I hope that's the case, but that's the goal.
I mean, you are still one of the most definitive players defining players of fandom, for sure.
I appreciate it.
When I think of fandom fights, I think Kaleb Koho.
Like on a Rushmore of fandom, it's literally, I think it's Tuig, Scully, Robert, Tam, and then like you. And
that 5th spot could be you, for sure.
Yeah,
I think Joe and there's a couple, and even David, like he has the team.
Yeah, I think when you rank the best of all time, I make the top 10, but I wouldn't I think I'm going this next year and the year after. Like what I'm doing now is gonna be.
It's seeing if you fit the 5.
This is the definitive. I think the last 5 years have been nothing compared to what the next 2 are going to be for me. I think the next 2 are going to be what people remember me for, or they don't remember me at all. So
sweet. Oh, I look forward to the rest of this season.
we'll see how this goes.
I think we're gonna. I
just talked up my season in such a big way where everyone's gonna whoever watches this and then watches multiplex and they see me just go like 0-6. I just come in and just die. It's like
I cannot wait to see how you play in this season. Teams and singles is going to be interesting.
If Manhattan doesn't win the fucking belt this year, something went way wrong. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
But I will say, I would love to have you and Holtzman on. We got to talk about Clash.
Oh, we do.
I want Clash of Demon Head on.
I can't begin to describe. That match was a roller coaster where at the end of round one I went, fuck, I just totally cost us everything where we lost, and it's because I wasn't ready for my first title match, down to us clashing the shit out of our 4-pointer and sitting there and then hearing your 4 and my heart just dropped.
One of the only times that Concept was able to hit a 4-pointer and win a match. Like it's one of like 3 times. Like
it was brutal where it was just like but the first match will always destroy me because I feel like I don't even want to think about the what ifs if we answer that correctly. Because there's a world if we answer that world correctly, maybe we win. And that's fucking nuts. Because then like if you think, but I hate
because you should have lost the lighted up match. Like that was one of
we should have lost the lighted up match. It's definitely our worst match. Like, even I remember Stallions the second time, but like it's just.
I remember hearing Dark Phoenix and just my heart sinking into my chest where I went, we just lost it at the very end of the biggest comeback of our career.
I was gonna say like there's so much history with you in fandom. You in Warzone is like even crazier. Like specifically teams and the way that
and 2020 like
that's
my favorite. Like I'll be honest, as much as I love my fandom career in 2020, I love my Warzone career in 2020 more. Where it's just like because again, I said it up top. I never got into this like world of tribute to play Geek. I got into this to play singles. I was a singles player first and foremost when I got here. There were just no openings. And so when I got into Warzone and like now gladly those first 2 matches don't exist because fuck those matches. So terrible.
Season 1 is rocky.
Yeah, it was awful. And so if you count my career from beginning now, it's technically I start 3-0, but I really for realsos, I started 0-2 and then won 2 matches barely. And then when we made the predictions, no one predicted me beating Beller.
Ethan, yeah.
No one predicted me getting past Beller. And no one predicted me getting past Brian. And like even though I don't win that one. That's one that even to this day, Brian and I will talk about. And it's like I should have won that one. That was one that if I win that one, that changes my whole career. I've played out that tournament and it's
you've told me this like multiple times. Like
insane.
If I beat Brian, I beat Mark, I beat Michael, I make it to the finals. And I'm just
I know it so hurts. It hurts so much where it's like if I just flip, drown, and hit by a train, there's a chance I play for a singles title in Warzone in 2020. It's crazy.
And I mean, you play for teams, so like that.
That's true. It's true. But again, the whole thing is like those matches would not have gone that exact same way because I would change things, blah, blah, blah. But if everything happens the exact same way and you just flip my one answer, I played for a title in 2020. Which is nuts.
I would love to have you and Holtzman on for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say this again to Michael Campbell, you ducked me. You ducked me by dipping out of Warzone before we could play. There's a match there's 2 matches in a league that we don't give a shit about anymore that I have a 2-0 record against you.
Yes. Hey, he's debuting on Alto soon, so you can always wait for that.
I'll tell this to Michael. Michael's way better than me and always will be, but for some reason I'm his fucking kryptonite in singles, and I just want to play him all the time to just keep proving it to myself. Where it's like I can beat this guy. That was the first time also beating Michael in the shit league. Where I was just like, oh man, maybe I'm not as bad as I thought I was. So.
But I would love to have you guys back on for a Clash at Demon Head match because I think there's just a lot of history going on there with how you guys played. Yeah. But thank you. Yeah. But thank you so much, Koho. Kaleb, it's always good to have you on. We'll love to have you on back next time we do this.
Absolutely. I love this. This was a great show.
Thank you, Adelaide, for stepping in. I think you're now my go-to person when it comes to if
I'm Michael Campbell, but worse.
No,
you're Michael Campbell, but American.
But American, yeah.
Is this what America does to him? Fuck, he shouldn't come here.
It's a good point, actually, to think about that. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This will be on YouTube in the next day or two, so you can see it, rewatch it on there. Next week, I actually don't know what we've decided. I know I said, and because this is my birthday week, but we wanted to do my match against Jeremy. We'll see if we can try and do that. That might be like an after dark thing where we just do it at our night, or like it's just the two of us, but we'll figure out something to do there. And then, yeah, I don't know exactly what we'll do next week with our guests, but I think Stallions is like the last two people that I really want on.
Oh man, talk about a great team there.
Talk about a team that
Mild Stallions are real solid.
Mild Stallions, they had a good run in the mix-up tournament. But thank you, everyone. This is fun. Trivia Flashback. We'll see you next week or whenever we decide to go live. I don't know how to end these.